Navarro and I agreed to prioritize bilateral defense industrial cooperation, which is critical. So today we published a joint statement outlining our priority areas for cooperation. This includes co-producing unmanned systems and increasing combined logistics support. I was just in Guam before I came here. We can talk about big systems and advanced technologies, but if you don't have logistics support, I see the folks who run militaries and run formations, you need logistics support to actually operate and advance forward. These initiatives will help us share burdens and promote a more comprehensive partnership. We intend for these efforts to boost both of our economies and strengthen supply chain resilience. And finally, we agreed to launch a bilateral cyber campaign. We're going to work together to reduce cyber vulnerabilities across our alliance, and increasing cybersecurity will allow even more advanced operational cooperation. The challenges we face require that kind of team effort. But I'll tell you this, those aspects are just the beginning. We had our meeting this morning, we had a meeting with the President, we had a meeting in here, we had private meetings as well. I can assure you, and I can assure all those watching, this is just the beginning of what will continue to be an incredibly fruitful alliance. So together we'll encourage our other partners and allies in the region to step up their efforts and their cooperation to increase defense capabilities and strengthen deterrence. We have already set a robust agenda for the next few years. Our staff and both of us are going to remain actively engaged. It reflects the strength, as I said, of our ironclad alliance, particularly in the face of communist China's aggression in the region. And our partnership demonstrates our commitment to peace and security in the Indo-Pacific. As our President, who sends his greeting,
Okay, you've been watching a live news conference with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth speaking in the Philippines. Of course, the U.S. and the Philippines signed a mutual defense treaty that dates all the way back to 1951. Hegseth there really doubling down on not just America's role and presence in Southeast Asia, but also the greater Indo-Pacific region as well, calling out China for its actions in that part of the world. We'll unpack this on the other side of this break. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
I started investing a little money for my dad, and I got bitten by the bug. In today's world, I would urge a lot of people to get financially savvy. Squawk Box and CNBC, it is my home. It's the greatest job in the world.
CNBC meets David Beckham.
For a long time, people wanted me to do the life documentary, but I'm not very good at opening up. The things that I've been through in the past, I've kind of put in a box, locked it up, and thought I'm never going to have to talk about it again. And I was happy with that. But I didn't realize how important it was for me to actually talk about this stuff. So I opened up and talked about things that I'd never spoke about before, like, injuries and worries and things that went on throughout my career, the sending off and how that made me feel.
When you talk about the sending off and the reaction to it, when you look back, what kind of mental resilience?
Well, I'm really glad social media wasn't around back then, because it was bad enough then. It was challenging, and when I look back at some of the footage, some of the archive stuff I'd never seen before, and it was hard to watch, and I get emotional talking about it.
Welcome back. Lebanon has appointed Karim Suwaid as the country's next central bank governor. The former HSBC banker's appointment comes after longtime governor Riyad Salameh stepped down in 2023. He was blamed by many for the country's economic collapse. Since his departure, the central bank has been run by an interim governor. Suwaid takes on a country in economic crisis and will work with the government to try and reform the financial sector after months of war and decades of corruption. Lebanon desperately needs economic reforms to unlock international aid. Meanwhile, Iran is ready for indirect talks with the United States, according to an advisor of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Kamal Karzai said on Thursday that Tehran has not closed all doors to resolve its disputes with Washington. Iran has consistently rebuffed President Donald Trump's warnings to reach a nuclear deal or face military consequences, saying the Islamic Republic won't negotiate under pressure or threats. Trump sent a letter to Iran, which they're expected to reply to soon. President Trump, of course, withdrew the US from the 2015 nuclear pact, which placed limits on Tehran's disputed nuclear activities. It then imposed sweeping sanctions on the country, crippling its economy even further. Another check on oil prices for you. In the red this morning after edging higher in Thursday trade as tighter crude supplies paired with fresh US tariffs shake the global economy. Earlier this week, oil prices were up around 1%, their highest since February. President Trump on Tuesday imposing 25% tariffs on the potential buyers of Venezuelan crude. Up next on the program, we'll be live in Hong Kong as the Rugby Sevens tournament kicks off. Emily Tan leading coverage on the ground there. Ems, a big weekend ahead.
A huge weekend ahead, and the Rugby Sevens well underway here in its new home. This is the Kai Tak Stadium, so it's a bigger version of it because the stadium now can accommodate up to 50,000 people. Now, coming up after the break, we are going to be speaking with a New Zealand rugby player. She is a multiple Olympic gold medal winner. Tyla King will be joining us, so you don't want to miss that. We're going for a short break here on Capital Connection. We'll be right back. Tyla, it's really great to see you. Thank you for joining us today.
Ambition to me is the American dream. It's why my mother came over from Taiwan. It's why people watch CNBC, because they want a better future. I was working as an analyst in Shanghai when my company landed in the news on accusations of espionage. I decided right there and then that I wanted to be on the other side reporting on the news. I love bringing